Hi, welcome to Isolated Extraction Systems. We are discussing IES innovations with some of our key leaders, talking about things that we have on the drawing board that's just around the corner that is going to massively impact not just our customers, but we believe the whole industry. And it's my absolute pleasure this morning to introduce you to Alex. Alex is our Chief Operations Officer, truly one of the smartest people I've ever met. And he's going to be sharing with us some of the innovations that he's introducing into how we run things at IES. Welcome, Alex.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Lorenzo. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. So tell us a little bit about how you're innovating our operations.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things that I think we wanted to change this year is being able to devote more resources overall to the customer experience.
Right.
And there's obviously a lot of facets that go into the customer experience. And so operationally, one of the easiest ways I found that we could do it would be to separate what was happening under one roof in Colorado and moving it. So what we did is our production line, our assembly line, which is responsible for actually building and testing and shipping the extractors, we wanted to take that out, and that's why we actually have that new facility in upstate New York right now.
That's the 24,000 square foot facility,
Yep,
right?
Yep. State of the art. We've rebuilt everything inside of there, and it's got a great flow. And so,
Fantastic.
What we're doing there is focusing just on improving lead times, quality, and having it be almost like in a vacuum compared to now where it's sharing resources with everything else. So now we can focus on building quality product at a faster lead time over there, and then what we're going to do in our Colorado facility, at least from an operation standpoint, is we can focus on our servicing our existing customers as well, and we can have this be more of like a sales showroom. But actually, in my opinion, one of the most exciting things, especially as it pertains to innovations, is we're going to have resources there that can be devoted to research and development and producing new products and having the next generations of extractors come through.
And that's something you're overseeing personally, correct?
Not necessarily the product development. There are smarter minds than I who do that. But as far as how it goes together operationally, yes, I'm involved in that. Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of changes have you made directly to make sure that things are just being done better, quicker, faster?
I mean, so inventory was a big, we did an overhaul on that, I guess. Traditionally in the past, we would do large blanket orders to shorten lead times, and I think now we're going more to a Kanban system, to where we're going to have a smaller overall inventory balance, but that means we're going to have the parts we always need without excess. So we're going to be able to be more of a consumption-based model, which means faster lead times. It actually means less overall footprint space as well as our inventory. And it should just relate to being, we should never really be out of parts. It's all about, demand and what we actually have in inventory. So that's been a big part of what I've personally overseen, is implementing that. And then, like I said, just moving everything to New York. That's been a big project as well, and looking at ways, maybe certain inefficiencies in our current setup, which partly is related to the layout of the building. We have one shipping and receiving dock, and the other one we have one shipping and receiving, so we can really have a flow.
Perfect.
So being able to actually set up the way we would like to in an ideal environment, there's going to be a lot of enhancements.
So
there.
you've been able to design that whole that work line. I don't know what the term is.
Yeah. So our production cells, I have, but with help of a lot of people. A lot of people. Right. We have. I think we have the best team in the world, and anything that we do, it's always a team collaborative effort.
My understanding is that we are right now building a number of systems out in Schenectady.
Yeah. So right now we have 9 in various stages. Whether that's we're doing procurement, getting parts in, maybe we're just kitting all the parts, starting to weld and cut the frames. Obviously assembly. I'm actually going out there next week to test a unit as well.
Nice.
So there's a lot of different steps along the way, but 9 systems are in some stage of production out there.
Nice. Alex, one of the things that I'm most excited about for IES is our refurb program. I think it's a stroke of genius, whoever came up with it. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, well, first of all, it was definitely a collaborative effort. We had a lot of people from our management team, our sales team, our service team, production team. They've all kind of contributed their ideas, and I think it stemmed from I guess you could say there's some maybe horror stories in the industry where someone buys a used system directly from a previous owner or sometimes even another third party, and they don't know the state of the condition that the machine's in,
Right.
and don't know any of the history. It's kind of like you buy a used car, you get the Carfax, right? And so what we are striving to do and what we have been doing so far is kind of controlling the aftermarket, making sure people who maybe want to spend a little bit less in extractor and buy a used extractor, they can buy it through us, certified, completely refurbished, so put a lot of new parts on there, and understand that it's going to work. You know, we're going to do quality testing. We're going to make sure that everything is good on it, so we can eliminate those horror stories, but they can still get a quality extractor at a discounted price.
Right. And I know on our website we make the claim that it's like new. It's, you know.
Yeah.
And
that's
quite a big statement.
So, I mean, we do an extensive overhaul of the whole system. You know, we're going to look at every component. We're going to make sure that it's still good. Now, there are some things we probably won't change, like the frame, for example, unless it's damaged or compromised, obviously. A lot of the vessels, you know, we'll usually keep because you can clean them pretty well. But, you know, we had one that had some water damage and some water froze, I guess, and had some, I guess, imperfections within some of the vessels, so we just replaced every vessel. Nice. So we're always going to make sure that the product the client's going to get when they're getting it from us is going to be top quality.
And they get what kind of service after they purchase the machine? Yeah,
so with the refurb program, you're going to get a 3-month or a 90-day service agreement. We're going to have standard warranties on some of the components, 90-day warranties on other components. But it is going to come with at least, you know, a quarter worth of service and materials and stuff.
And you think this is potentially a big market?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, we've had a lot of interest in our refurb program. Like I said, it's a lower price point, and it's a proven, I guess, system. It's been in the field, it's operated. And it's honestly a little bit unusual for us because before, I guess halfway through 2020, there weren't really any used IES systems on the market. What I think happened is as CVD prices fell, 2019, I would say maybe 3/4 or 2/3, I guess, of our business was CVD, was hemp.
Right.
And as those prices dropped, I think some of these companies decided, you know, our profits are maybe 1/10 of what we expected.
Right.
And so to save, I guess, some money, they decide, all right, we're going to sell back the system. So it's unusual for us to have this type of market, but we're going to embrace it. And these systems can be repurposed for THC, maybe other CBD companies who are doing a little bit better. I don't know, but it is really exciting. And there's definitely a big market there for it.
Oh, congratulations. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, thanks. It is.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. That was Alex, our Chief Operations Officer. See you next time. Today I wanted to talk briefly on our trade-in program, which we've just recently introduced. Can you tell us what that is and how it works?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple different aspects to a trade-in program. So first, if you are an existing client and you have an IES extractor and maybe you want to upgrade, potentially, especially this is more pertinent to people who maybe bought our systems back in 2012 or 13 or 14, some of our earlier models,
right.
And maybe they want to get some of our later hydraulic series with better flow rates and run times and even capacity. So what they might do is they're going to trade in the value, and that it's valued kind of like a used car. We use a used car depreciation schedule based off of manufacturing date, runtime hours, kind of like miles on a car, and then that value will be deducted from the purchase price of a new system.
Okay.
And if you're an existing client, you're already going to get a discount just because you're a repeat buyer.
Nice.
But that's one aspect of it, and then that system would then be refurbished by us and then resold during a refurb program, which we touched on earlier. But then with the trade-in program, we also are now starting to take non-IES equipment.
Non-IES equipment.
Yes, and the reason why is it's just we've heard a lot. Yeah, I have this extractor, not a big fan of it, but they're kind of tied to production. So we can alleviate that, the purchase a new or even a refurbished system, and then we'll take that off their hands, and then they'll be able to, and they'll be compensated for it. Of course, it'll go against, reduce from the value of the new
And this
system.
is not just CO2 machines, as I understand.
Yeah,
right?
no, I mean
It's
hydrocarbon, ethanol.
Also hydrocarbon.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea is a lot of people right now are trying to get into CO2 extractions.
Right.
The Mayo Clinic up in Minnesota, I believe, they just released something a few months ago about CO2 being the preferred solvent for extraction.
Okay.
And that was specific to, I believe, CBD oil, but obviously you can imagine how that translates to other botanicals, THC, and even non-cannabinoids. And so, a lot of people are kind of jumping ship off of those other solvents, and we want to help facilitate that and make it a little more cost effective for them.
So basically, folks can either purchase a new machine, they can do a refurb,
Yep.
they can do a trade-in with us.
Yep.
There are all sorts of, I know we've just recently introduced a pre-qualification
Absolutely.
program as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's big. So we have a lot of financing options available. We understand that getting into extraction can be expensive, and so we want to do everything we can to help people.
Right.
And
Remove those
yep.
barriers.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's a
Right.
big program that we've launched as well.
Oh, excellent. That's great news. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.